Alright guys, so we're going to apply the things that we've learned about solving into actual word problems that you will see on a C-Scope test in the future, whether it's in a couple weeks or not. This is an actual handout that you need to get from me, so make sure you have the handout. You are not to do this on your own piece of paper. It's a lot of writing, or not a lot of writing, but I don't want you having to write the word problems, so make sure you have it, okay? Make sure you do every example, because every example is different. Also, make sure you have your calculator. You're going to need it, okay? Alright, every problem is different. I'm going to highlight the differences between them and then show you how to do them. We've done things like them before, and then we're just going to add the solving part to it. It's going to be kind of hard to read what's on here, but if you read your paper, you'll see what it says. Okay? So the first problem says, the perimeter of the shape below is 42 feet. What is the value of x? And here it says x, and here it says 3x plus 1. And you're probably like, I don't know. Alright? So I'm going to show you how to do it. Keyword here is perimeter. And we have done this before. I would highlight or underline or box that word, perimeter. We've seen this in warm-ups, and we've actually done an activity where you find the perimeter of this shape, right? So if this is x, over here this is x, and I encourage you to write this. If this is 3x plus 1, then this is 3x plus 1. Okay, so write that on your notes. Alright? Now perimeter, we add up all the sides. So I'm going to combine everything, but I can only combine what looks alike. So here's an x. It's hard to see on here, I know, but look at your paper. There's an x. Here's an x, and here's an x. These x's don't have numbers, so the number is 1, correct? So let's add those up. Your calculator or your head, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, and 7 plus 1 is 8. So there is 8x. Okay, kind of hard to see. 8x. Alright? Now we also have these little guys, the constants, the numbers without letters, this plus 1s. Okay? So 1 plus 1 is just a positive 2. So I'm going to put plus 2. So we've done that before. That shouldn't be new. That's something we've done. It might be a review, but we've done it. But now the word problem is telling us that the perimeter is 42. If you don't know, write this down. Is, that word is means equals. Equals. I know, my pencil kind of sucks. Equals. Equals 42. So if this is the perimeter, if the perimeter is 42, that means this equals 42. And then this should look like something that you're used to doing. So we draw our line. Same thing we've been doing the past 2 weeks. Your x, 8 your best friend, we're going to kick out 2. The opposite of adding 2 is subtracting 2. Alright, this goes away. 8x comes down. All of this is not new, I hope. This should be very familiar. 42 minus 2 is 40. And then we divide by 8. Yet again, all of this should be very, very, very familiar. And then 40 divided by 8, if you can't do it in your head, 40 divided by 8 in the calculator is 5. So we go ahead and write 5 there. Kind of hard to see. So x is 5. Be very careful what the question's asking you. This is asking what is the value of x. So we did. X is 5. You're going to see in a second that it might ask you like what, so like if this is x, that means this side is 5. Right? Because x is 5. And then this is 3x plus 1. So 3x, well x is 5, so 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 plus 1 is 16. So it might ask you for x, if so, give them this. It might ask you to actually figure out what they are, and then you plug them in. We'll look into that in a second. Okay? As long as you can get here, we're good. Alright, next problem. That's area. I'm only going to do, or that's perimeter. I'm only going to do one like that. You're going to see them on your paper, on your assignment. This one's area. The area of a shape. I'm going to box or underline, however you want to, that word area. Okay? The area of the shape below is 150 square feet. It's hard to read on the video. You have it on your paper. What is the length and the width? So I need to figure out what these two lengths are. Well, that's 5, but I don't know what this is. Now, to find area, we've done this before. You have to do length times width, correct? And you set it up like distribution. So if you need to put a little side note, you can put like distributing. If you want to write that so it keeps it in your mind how to do it. So we're going to put 5 over here, and then a parenthesis, and then 4b plus 2. The reason we're multiplying is because area is length times width. So 5 times this. Okay? And yet again, it says equals 150. Or sorry, is 150. And is means equals. So you put equals 150. Okay? So we draw our line. This is something we've been doing for a while. I see distribution, so I should draw my little distribution lines. Okay? Calculator or in your head, 5 times 4, I'm telling you now, is 20. So 20b. And 5 times 2 is, or positive 2 is a positive 10. If you don't know, you just use your calculator. Don't be afraid. It's kind of hard to read this. This is 20b plus 10. I know it's kind of hard to see. Equals 150. Alright? So yet again, oh, you can't see that. That's 10 there. Alright. So, your 20, or sorry, your b, 20 is your best friend. I'm getting rid of adding 10. The opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10 on both sides. Okay? So that goes away. We're left with 20b equals, and 150 minus 10 is 140. Yet again, use your calculators if you need to. And then we divide by 20. This is not anything new. This is all stuff we've done before. And then b equals, let's go ahead and write all that work. We're dividing by 20 on both sides. 140 divided by 20 in your calculator is 7. So b is 7. Kind of hard to see there. B is 7. You can box it up if you want to. However, look back at the question. It doesn't ask us what b is. It asks us to find the length and the width. Well, this is just 5. We already know. But this is 4b plus 2. Okay? And you can write it however you want to, but basically 4. But instead of b, what is b? Well, b is 7. So 7 plus 2. We've already done this. This is called evaluating expressions. This was first week of school. Basically, you just plug this in. 4 times 7 plus 2. So calculator. 4 parentheses 7. You can put 4 times 7. Doesn't matter. Plus 2. And we get it as 30. So our answer is 30. And really, if this is a word problem, I would put, you can't really see my pencil, so I'm not going to write it, but you need to put like the length and width are 30 and 50, or however you want to write it. But it needs to be a complete sentence. Okay? Alright, back part. And by the way, just saying, you have something like this exactly on your Unit 2 C-Scope test. So, it's going to be on there. We're going to revisit it. Alright, on the back. You have 2 word problems, again, pulled straight from your test. So, we're going to go over them. And I'm going to go ahead and use a Sharpie this time so you can see it a little easier. This says, Mark bought chips for $1.50 and apples that were $1.75 per pound. His total was $6.75. How many pounds of apples did he buy? The hardest thing to do here is to write the equation. After that, you know what you're doing. The hardest thing to do is to write it. So we're going to take it step by step. Mark bought chips for $1.50. So he paid $1.50. Like, he just bought chips. So I'm going to put $1.50. He bought chips. Okay? And make sure that's a decimal point. Otherwise, it's going to get really wrong. And he bought apples. So if he's also buying something else, I'm going to put plus. Right? Like, if you were going to buy stuff, you had to add up the total. So plus, because he's buying more stuff. Apples that were $1.75 per pound. Here's how you write this, and I'll show you in a second. $1.75, so 1.75 per pound. We don't know how many pounds he bought. It doesn't say. So when you see this like per thing here, you need to think X or a letter. Like you could put $1.75 P for pound or $1.75 X. It doesn't matter. What this means is he bought chips plus $1.75 per pound. We don't know how many pounds he did. Okay? Then his total was $6.75. So all of this equals $6.75. If you see this word total, that means equals. So all these words represent things, and that's why this is the hardest part. This right here is the hardest part. From here, you should know what you're doing because this is what we've done before. The question asks, how many pounds of apples did he buy? Basically, what is X? So we draw our line. Be very careful with your decimals. Your X, $1.75 is your best friend. I'm kicking out $1.50. The opposite of a positive $1.50 is a negative $1.50. What we're doing right now is not new. This is what we've been doing The only new part is the actual writing of the equation. Okay? $6.75 minus $1.50. Be very careful you are using, can't see my calculator, can you? Be very careful you're using your decimal points, right? Minus the, whoa, that is not a dollar. Minus $1.50. Okay? Is $5.25. So $5.25. Yet again, all this is new. Then we divide by 1.75. Okay, that goes away. X equals 5.25 divided by 1.75. So, kind of hard to see. 5.25 divided by 1.75 is 3. So X is 3. Yet again, this is your answer. However, this is a word problem, so your answer needs to be a sentence. So how many pounds of apples did he buy? He bought 3 pounds of apples. He bought 3 pounds of apples with a capital letter and a period at the end. Alright? So we got our answer. Yet again, this first step is the hardest part. Everything after that you're used to. Last one, guys. A pizza place charges $9 for a pizza and 70 cents per topping. How many toppings can you get if you have